Fox host Laura Ingraham has recently came out with a pretty big whopper of a lie. I know everybody, it's my shocked face, right? Super shocked. But her lie basically is that hospitals that were overwhelmed with COVID patients weren't really overwhelmed with COVID patients. That is until their stupid vaccine mandates. Take a look.
Think about the insanity of this for a moment. The politicians and the public health officials who ordered us, begged us to stay home, to wear masks, to cancel church, sports, forego weddings, all the other things you like to do, in order to save the healthcare system, they're now the ones actively sabotaging the healthcare system. Kind of makes you think this wasn't about saving the hospitals right from the outset, was it? Of course, we now know that when they say the hospitals, though, are being overwhelmed, it's almost always a lie. With the exception of a few big city hospitals in the U.S., our hospital system was stretched for sure, but it was never overwhelmed. And with the Delta variant, any hospitals that were stretched usually found themselves in that situation due to staffing shortages created by their stupid vaccine mandates.
Notice that. Did you notice the graphic she had? Create the crisis, take the power. What is that? Like that's like the conspiracy. Like you created the COVID crisis, and now you're gonna use it to take power. Oh, that's what dictators do. Blah, blah. Classic conspiracy mongering by Fox News. Wonderful. Great. As if this isn't already big enough of a problem. But let's go to the substance of what she says, or I should say the lack thereof. The hospital system, it was stretched back during the, winter surge, but overwhelmed. Well, no, of course not. I mean, until vaccine mandates. So, that was a real problem. Yeah. No, the whole problem, I'm sorry, not the problem. She is the problem. The whole problem is we have anti-vaxxers, even in the medical field, that are refusing to get their vaccine. That's the entire problem. But the point of the vaccine mandate for hospital workers is so that they do not catch and transmit the virus to their patients or take it home. Now, again, this is this gigantic push by the right wing to say, natural immunity. Oh, but you can still get get COVID if you've had the vaccine. Yeah, yes, this is true. You can still get the virus if you have been vaccinated. Yes, it's called a breakthrough infection. It's also incredibly rare. You can still also get COVID if you've had it before. You can get COVID twice. Get COVID more than once. So I don't know what the whole natural immunity thing is on the right wing, like what their fascination is with it. Because, I mean, in order to get your natural immunity, you actually have to have had the virus. And for nearly 700,000 Americans, that has been fatal. They didn't make it, which is why you're supposed to get the vaccine. But anyway, so now the other part is to get, the vaccine mandate is so that you don't take it home and infect family members. Or, of course, if you avoid getting it in the first place, which the vaccine helps, then you don't have to quarantine, take time off, which makes your staffing shortage worse. And again, here's the thing. Laura Ingraham is making it sound like this this staffing shortage is new and as a result of vaccine mandates, which is not true at all. There has been a staff shortage since at least last year, even before, during the times we were hit the hardest with COVID-19. And it's still bad in hard-hit areas, and has been. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that, by the way. A lot of healthcare workers actually got sick and died. Since March of last year, the CDC says that over 565,000 healthcare workers got COVID. Some of them might have gotten long COVID. Some of them suffered organ damage or work anymore. Some of them might have just quit because of a result of, having to deal with the massive stresses and the disaster that was this pandemic. 1,800 died, and there are suggestions that these numbers are actually undercounted. So understand that people, yes, get sick, they miss work, they die as a result of getting COVID. That is the whole point of the vaccine mandates. That is part of your staff shortage right there. But understand that she's also wrong about rural hospitals. Remember, she pointed out specifically, there's no problem here. There's no issue with hospitals being overwhelmed. Only in the big cities, only in New York, only in LA, all the big liberal bags, those are the ones having the problems. Not rural hospitals. They're absolutely fine. They're great. No, she's wrong. She's absolutely wrong. In fact, in places with high COVID transmission rates, i.e. the red states, you have hospitals that don't have enough staff or beds to keep up with the cases. In fact, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, director of the CDC, told CBS News' Face the Nation that there are some part of the countries in which their healthcare systems are, quote, in dire straits. Quote, they are running out of beds. For example, in Idaho, Minidoka Memorial Hospital. This is in rural Idaho. This is not in Boise, right? It's a very, very small town. KPTV B7 News reports that in Rupert, Idaho, the COVID-19 pandemic has taken a serious toll on both large and small hospitals alike. Well, this is Kelsey Phillips, an emergency room charge nurse at Minidoka Memorial Hospital. We have beds in the hallway here and oxygen tanks up to them because their stats are low and they need oxygen now. It's never been pure chaos like it is now. No, well, hold on here. This is a rural hospital. I thought this was supposed to be untouched, completely untouched, only in the big hospitals where they have their stupid mandates. Here's what she says. She continues by saying, some days when you're here, it's all you can do to get out of one set of PPE to the next, to go to the next room, to try to take a big breath in and gasp and go into the next room. Phillips said emergency rooms are constantly full of COVID-19 patients, and the waiting rooms are overflowing as well. The small hospital has 30 beds available for COVID-19 patients and only one single ICU bed. So, you get seriously ill with COVID, you're screwed. And not to mention any of the other things that you go traditionally to a hospital for, heart attack, stroke, etc. Those people, they're not going to have beds. They don't have beds. No places to go. She also said, it is scary because we've never had to do this before. And, every life matters to us. We can only do what we humanly possibly can do with the resources we have. And on top of COVID, we have other emergencies. Now, to point out, or I should say, to really go back to Ingram's argument that it's not COVID. No, it's not a big problem at these rural hospitals, right? More than 95% of the patients being treated for COVID-19 at Minidoka Memorial Hospital are unvaccinated. It's almost as if, this crisis would be averted if everybody had their vaccine. Because Minidoka Memorial Hospital only has one ICU bed, patients in need of higher levels of care are often sent to large hospitals in Boise, Twin Falls, or Pocatello. However, those hospitals are also full. Out-of-state hospitals have told Minidoka they cannot accept new patients. Yeah, so what happens? You're screwed. That's what happens. And look, it's not just there. You have Alaska, for example. They adopted rationing of care. Other hospitals are considering the same all over the country. This is not a result of the mandates. This is a result of people not vaccinating and then getting sick enough to require hospitalization, the whole thing that the vaccine is supposed to prevent. Again, just about all the hospitalizations are among the unvaccinated. Gee, I don't know. I think we might have found the problem. Yeah, but no. Laura says, no, it's the mandates. The mandates are the real problem. It's because of the mandates, the staff are quitting. Again, you've got handfuls of staff, generally nurses, which is unfortunate. But again, because you're a nurse doesn't mean you're necessarily. So look, let me just say this. I love nurses. Nurses are wonderful, and they're very, very necessary. But just because you're a nurse doesn't necessarily mean that you can't fall victim to or fall prey to disinformation. Okay, so that's very important. Even smart people or well-educated people can believe in stupid things, can fall prey to disinformation and misinformation and conspiracies. So let's just point that out, okay? But again, I don't think they would need as many staff or as many beds if you had more people who were vaccinated, because they wouldn't require hospitalization. And by the way, you're also seeing these hospitals get overwhelmed because there are people that have held off treatment for so long during these COVID blitzes that they can't wait any longer, and they don't have COVID, but they have to go in and get medical work done, medical care. So in reality, unvaccinated people caused this problem. People pushing anti-vax conspiracies caused this problem. People like Laura Ingraham and Tucker Carlson caused this problem. People who, by the way, work at a company that was requiring vaccine passports long before Joe Biden's mandate on big corporations and federal employees. And it's not even that strong of a mandate. You have the option to get tested. Like, oh my God, oh wow, what a mandate. And what happens when you don't do it? The company gets fined. And I have no idea how they're even going to enforce that. So, and besides, it's only for companies over 100 employees. You don't want to do it? Well, then don't, find another job. What do conservatives always tell you? You don't like your job? You don't like the rules? All right, well, go find another job. Go find another job. Just go do it. You know what? If you really want to avoid taking the vaccine, why don't you just stay home? Just stay home. And the problem with anti-vaxxers is, yes, they have a choice not to vaccinate. We're not going to jab needles into their arms. I'm never going to advocate doing this by force. I think that is a violation of, a person's bodily autonomy if you've got jackbooted thugs coming to your door with needles in their arms. No, nobody's in favor of that. And I don't even personally care if you don't want to vaccinate, fine. What I care about is, if you're not going to, then stay home. Stay home. That's it. Stay home. I don't want your damn virus. Stay home. Now, the problem with the anti-vaxxers is, well, not only do they not choose to stay home, but they choose to engage in the activities that are high risk for everyone else and themselves. They're like the drunk driver, except that we're locked in the car with them. If they get into a crash, guess what? Guess who's affected? We are. You get plastered and drive your car, chances are you're going to hit somebody or kill them. You get COVID, chances are very likely, especially with the Delta variant, that you're going to spread it to other people and possibly kill someone else. Much higher than if you've been vaccinated. It doesn't just affect you. If it did, I wouldn't give a goddamn what you do. But it does. Vaccines are basically your seatbelt and airbags. Do they work 100% of the time? No. And you can still crash and you can still get hurt, but the chances are those things will actually save your life. They're going to save your life. So Laura Ingraham is a bullshit artist. She is ironically killing her own audience, and that's how little these people actually care about them, by the way. This is pathological. And they get away with it by screaming things about, freedom, knowing that you can't really be free if you're dead. My idea of freedom is not getting winded going up the stairs from COVID lung damage or being drowned in medical debt because I refuse a free vaccine. Medical treatment, by the way, it costs an average of $20,000 to $40,000 to get treated for COVID, depending on where you are. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.